This is Mark Ludwig from the Allegan Conservation District, introducing you to the district's no-till drill. It's a Truax Flex 88. It's capable of drilling all kinds of different grasses. What makes it extra special is that we have the fluffy seed box, which can drill things like Big Bluestem and Indian grass and all that good stuff. This is why the Michigan DNR loans us these things. Today I've got the drill a little bit taken apart just so we can see the different components and how it works. This video, as much as anything, is intended to help you operate the drill correctly. When you operate the drill, these different components will be down in the dirt. The disc at the front you see that's kind of star-shaped is actually going to cut a slot in the ground. The depth band assembly is going to very precisely make a nice little V where all of these boxes that you see up here, these three different boxes, will drop seeds down in, and then these press wheels behind will close that furrow up, pressing the seeds into the soil, and everything will come up and grow like we want it to. Each of these depths band assemblies has scrapers. These have just been turned around. You can see the wear on these scrapers from the previous year. A scraper down here, but we're able to turn those around, and that will keep mud and whatnot from building up in there. There's also a scraper, just difficult to see, right here, which scrapes the mud off the inside. We've got three boxes. You can see the hoses that drop down from the boxes. Each box has a way to change how much seed is going to be metered out. The back box and the front box are metered by adjusting, or changed by adjusting these slides, and that changes the amount of flute that's exposed. You can see this; these are the little cups that are going to rotate when we're moving. And the amount of the cup that you can actually see exposed in here is going to drive how much seed is dropped. The seed's going to be agitated in this box, and there's actually a list we've pasted in here from the operations manual, which will give you a rough idea of how much seed you're going to drop. There is a lot of variation among seeds, even within the same species. So wheat is often different sized kernels, oats, etc., so everything is approximate. We certainly encourage you to get off the tractor and look now and then and see how things are going. The fluffy seed box here, I happen to be too cheap to actually buy expensive manicured prairie seed from the store, and I pick my own, and even a fair amount of, a little bit I should say, of straw can be tolerated in there. Again, you'll want to get off every now and then and pick out stems or anything that are in there, but it does a nice job of doing that. You actually change the amount of seed with this assembly here. We're going to use a Derailleur Assembly. You are familiar with it. It's like the gears of a bicycle, where we're going to change which sprockets this chain is running on. Where I have it now is the lowest amount of seed. If you move over to this set of gears, there's another gear behind this little gear, the big gear. And then there's a chain tensioner right here that we just lift up. It's spring tensioned, and then just pick up that chain and move it over. Move the little tightener over to the proper position. Very simple. Easy to change. And again, really probably ought to be getting up and looking at that box as you start to drill. Make sure you're not drilling faster than you think you ought to be. The front box is for small, hard seeds. Most of the legumes, clover, alfalfa, Sometimes a lot of the different wildflower seeds, if you're buying a wildflower and prairie mix to drill with the Truax, you are best to get the seeds as individual species and mix them on your own. Use your judgment. The smaller seeds really need to go up in this box up in here, the small hard seeds, where the fluffier seeds will go in the middle for most of the grass species, especially the warm season grasses, big blue, little blue, elemis, which is a cool season grass. Any of those kind of big, kind of fluffy seeds want to go in that one. And then back here, things that are about the size of grain. So the nurse crops a lot of time will go back in here. But even some of the bigger flower seeds, I would think like wild sunflowers, silphiums and things, might do better back here. Anyway, what else to tell you about the drill? Oh, with any no-till piece of equipment, try to get it level, and I mean really level. As you can see, you can move this hitch up and down, you can flip it over if you need to match up with your equipment, but you'll want to actually set it into the ground and see how level it is. You might even want to put an actual carpenter's level up on one of these boxes and see how you do. Also remember that when you give it to you, this safety block will be in the hydraulic cylinders, so you'll need to hook it up to the tractor, lift this up, take the safety block out. Then you want to set the drill in the ground and drive forward a little bit and see and check if it's level. Again, probably up here. The reason we want it level is because we have to not only cut the furrow open with this disc up here, we've also got to press hard enough to close back here, and the only way to really do that accurately is to get the drill just as level as we can get it. That way everything will work correctly and all that expensive seed you bought will actually be in the ground where you want it. A couple other things. This, as you can see, this is the chains here. Normally there's a shield over this. I've got this off to do the maintenance before spring. When I popped this all open, a lot of these chains were loose. The chain tightening discs had loosened up on this. So if you start to have problems or grain or one of the seed boxes doesn't seem to be feeding, it could be that one of these chains has loosened up for some reason and it's skipping. So you may want to just go ahead, take off the covers. You can kind of see where the covers were on there by where the yellow paint is still yellow and not faded. So yeah, check on that. And there's also, you're actually going to take power here from this little pin you put in on the hub. I'll show you how this works. You just pull that out. Whoa, come on now. Twist, let that slide back in, all the way back in. And that's going to engage in the back side here and is going to cause power to come up this chain, and that's what's going to drive everything. There's a clutch assembly over here so it doesn't start spinning the boxes until the unit's been lowered down into the soil, so it's not dropping seed while you're just driving around. That's about it for the drill. There are a fair number of grease Zerks on here. We certainly appreciate it if people grease it up. Try to keep it clean. And don't go down the road too fast with this thing. They really don't want you to go faster than about 25 miles an hour because it's these goofy stub axles. It doesn't line up super well. It can get kind of whipping back and forth. And it is pretty heavy. So take your time, or bring your big trailer and load it on your trailer. Anyway, this is Mark Ludwig from the Allegan Conservation District. Come rent our drill and plant prairies and good stuff like that for habitat in Allegan County. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.